What's up, everybody? This is Penelope Diamantopoulos from Buy the Book, here to bring you the best of the written world, the upcoming novels, books, everything you wanted to know but are maybe not wanting to ask. I'm your host, and you are listening to Buy the Book. This is Penelope Diamantopoulos. So, as a librarian, people are always, I feel like they want to ask me something, but they're just not ready to. So, this is a list of things that people have asked me, and the answers. Hopefully, this answers some of your questions as well. Okay, number one, somebody had the guts to ask me this. What's your least favorite book? Oh gosh, I'm kind of scared to answer this one. But thanks for KJ for asking this question. It's really hard to find a least favorite book, but probably, it changes. A least favorite book could be anything from something that you just don't like the characters, or you don't like the writing, or maybe like an author dropped off in the middle of the series. But I gotta say, my least favorite book is probably one that stops somebody from reading, something that somebody just hates so much or makes them feel like they can't read, and often that's really old literature. So right now I'm going to say Moby Dick. It's a great book, but it discourages so many people that right now I've got like a vendetta against it. I'm just like, no, don't be that. That's not going to be your first book. But, whales aren't for everybody. Okay, next question. Let's see. What's your favorite book? Oh gosh. LM, thanks for asking this, but this is such a hard question. It changes every single time I read a book. Gosh. Oh, right now, I just finished a really, really great series. Well, not finished, but I caught up on it. It's called Amari and the Night Brothers. I finished the second book, Amari and the Great Game, and it's by B.B. Alston, and it is an amazing series. It is so good. It is so original. It has all the crazy amazingness that sucks you in of Harry Potter. It's got all the black girl magic. It's got all the great feelings and like underdog magic of pretty much any great underdog book. I'm trying to think of one right now. But Amari and the Night Brothers is probably my favorite right now. Okay, let's see. Next one. What's your least favorite thing that people have done with books? Oh, gosh. Man, I hope Jay is looking a little guilty right now. Probably, like, go places they know they probably shouldn't read books. Like, the beach. I'm great with the beach, but not with a library book, y'all. You gotta return that. Somebody's gotta, tip all of your 7 gallons of sand and sunscreen out of that. Don't bring a library book to the beach. Oh, another one, malls. You have no idea how many mall security will be like, oh, we got a book. And I'm like, why? Don't leave it in a public place. Don't bring it to a restaurant. Don't bring it to a mall. Don't bring it to, Old Navy. I got 3 books from Old Navy, and I'm wondering if it's the same person. But yeah, they were all good books. So at least there's that. Okay, do you hate it when people eat with books? Ooh, I'm not sure what to say with that. Eating with books, not eating books. Eating with books is probably one of my favorite things to do, Sitting down and, oh gosh, my brain's blanking now, but picking up Harry Potter and eating french fries is probably one of my favorite things to do. Oh my gosh, it's so good. Or hot cocoa on a cold day with a really, really good book. One of the best things in the world. So I don't hate eating when you're reading. I hate it when you are eating Cheetos and scrub it on the page, because guess what? Nobody likes that. Gosh. Just don't eat Cheetos with books, period. Or potato chips or anything that comes in a bag that can't be recycled. How about that? But thank you, MM, for asking that question. Okay, what's the strangest story you've had with a book that got ruined and or destroyed and or lost? Ooh, Arc H, thank you for asking this. Probably somebody who left it at so there was, I don't know who it is. We believe in anonymity or whatever it's called, but somebody, once we got a book returned from the post office, they had tried to mail it out of state, and then the people at the post office were like, we're not sure, but we wanted to check with you since the package it was in was damaged and they didn't know who to return it to. So they were like, we just have a library book that was across state borders. And I was like, what? Because tell me, everybody, who checks out a book in Fort Worth, Texas, and it's found out in Santa Fe? Guys, don't do this. It's not fun. Nobody wants, don't do it. But thank you so much, R, for asking that question. But that was probably the strangest thing I've had done. Okay, what's the most popular book that people just keep checking out? Oh, it changes. Usually with Generations, there's like a series. Like a few years ago, it was definitely Diary of the Wimpy Kid. That was absolutely ginormous. None of the books were ever there for more than a day. Absolutely not. Before that, it was definitely Harry Potter. Harry Potter's pretty constant in that there's never the full series there. Now, definitely on the rise, I would say Percy Jackson is always getting checked out. That's a big one. And a lot of like murder mysteries are becoming a lot more popular. So, like, One of Us is Lying, a lot of the Holly Black books, like The Red Queen, books that are definitely more mature, I guess. So maybe like there's just a generation that's growing up and just passing on all their good taste because a lot of these books are really great. Unfortunately, that means not a lot of people can read them because they're never on the shelves, but that's what holds are for. At least the people who know what holds are. Man, nobody knows how to put a hold on things anymore. Like, you'd think that people would be online enough that they know how to click a button. But no. Good grief. Yes. Okay, so next question. What's one of the least popular books? Ooh. I can't say a lot of classical literature because a lot of teachers like assign that, and so people will be like checking out Romeo and Juliet a ton because it's really popular and teachers like to teach that kind of thing, or like just the allure of Shakespearean old-fashioned like famous books and stuff like that. But I would have to say the least popular books are probably like young adult novels that just get overlooked a bit, or like have a lot smaller fandoms, so they just like don't end up like on screens anymore. So they can still be really good series. Like, I know there's this amazing series that I absolutely love, and it's called Beyonders, and it is absolutely breathtaking. It's by Brandon Mull, and it's like this cool like trans-dimensional world, and he gets sucked in and like he's trying to find his way home, and then he ends up like on this like stupid quest that he doesn't want to be, but it's like such a natural book, and it's so great. And every single time it's one of my like you gotta like it books, because whenever he's like, I don't know what to read, I'm like, you're gonna read this book now. But and I love that it's always on the shelves, well, most of the time. But I do wish that people would like just actually go to libraries and be like, oh, this looks interesting, or ask a librarian, because it's literally our job to know what good books to read. Well, and other things. But I would definitely say the Beyonder series by Brandon Mull is definitely a very underrated and overlooked book series. Not that it's not popular, but it's not that popular, unfortunately. Okay, let's see. Next question. Um, have you ever worked at more than one library, and what is your favorite library? Okay, so I currently volunteer at a school library because reasons. But I definitely have to say I do like working at I do like being at a school library more. There's less craziness, I guess I could say, than like at a public library where I have some volunteer experience. There were always crazy things, and especially as a younger woman, I was not always the most comfortable in a library, which should never happen. So that is something I try to help, but in a school, it's just so great. Besides, like, everybody is like just like finding out new books constantly. They're always asking. They're like, "Hey, what's a good book to read?" Or like, I'll walk up and I'm like, "Hey, you looking for something?" They're like, "I really liked this book. What's a good one?" And I'm like, "Absolutely, I can help you." And it's so great to be able to help you and help people. And in my experience, and I asked a few other librarians this, like, what's something that you don't like about being like at a public school or a school library, public library or school library? And they're like, at a school library, people are just so much more open to asking you questions, or like, what's a really good book to read? Just asking for help. And it's so great because we're paid to do this, but everybody's always scared of a librarian. And this is a direct quote from a librarian in Nevada. Shout out to Lynn. She said, "Guess what, people? We're not all crazy ladies with cat sweaters." Newsflash. And I was just so proud of her for saying that. Okay, next question. LM again asked, if I can read this, good grief. What's your favorite thing to eat while reading? Ooh, she was banking on my answer saying you can eat with books, man. What are you eating with your books. Don't make it be Cheetos. I just hate eating Cheetos with books. It's like one of my least favorite things. Hot cocoa is pretty good, but that can spill, so make sure it's like in an okay cup. But hot cocoa on a cold day with a book is pretty good. I think I already said that. But also, like, on a really, like, hot day, it can be so nice to just read. So, like, you let your mind get off of how hot you are and how you just want to melt into the floor. Because being in a good book, you can just absolutely lose yourself, and it's so great. Everything melts away. And then you come back, and you've got something new, or maybe you left something behind, and it just feels so great. So, yeah, hot cocoa on a cold day or like ice cream on a hot day. Oh my gosh. Yeah, probably like vanilla or birthday cake ice cream too. Not chocolate ice cream in books. I don't like chocolate ice cream in books either. That just sounds weird. Tastes weird too, probably. Okay, next question. This is AH. Okay. Do you prefer books on paper or ebooks or audiobooks? Oh, that is such a good question. It's really what I'm going for. But I gotta say, nothing beats the classicality and like original heartfelt feel of a paperback novel, or even just hardback, but like paper in your hands, just turning the pages. You feel so much more invested in the book than when you're just staring at a screen. When you're staring at a screen, there's like just a boundary, you know? Nothing online is really there 100%. When it's in your hands, you just feel a definite intimacy with the book, and that it's so great. Audiobooks are really good. When you're listening to an audiobook, it really feels like you're connecting with it. You can definitely like hear all the different voices and stuff, and especially if you've got a really good one, you can just feel the emotions coming through. An audiobook is definitely my go-to, especially if I'm like doing something else, or like I'm like painting something, or if I'm cooking. An audiobook is like it's so great. Audiobooks are the best. One of my favorite audiobooks is actually this book. It's called The Willoughbys by Lois Lowry. And Lois Lowry is really known for their more like deep sci-fi novels or historical fiction. You've heard like Number of the Stars, which is all about the Holocaust, or like The Giver, which is a serious sci-fi novel about like this like mysterious black and white dystopian world. And then they come out and they write a story about these 4 kids, and like they're horrible parents, and it's so great, and they're all redheads, and they find a baby on their doorstep. And when it's an audiobook, man, the person who does that audiobook is absolutely ridiculous, because I enjoyed it so much, and I still listen to that. I bought that audiobook, and I'm like, yes, every single time. I'm like bored out of my mind. Yeah, put on The Willoughbys by Lois Lowry. Everybody check it out. It's a super fast read, and it is the funniest thing. There's also a movie on Netflix, and the movie is almost as good as the book, which is very high praise coming from a librarian. Oh, and that's the next question. Wow. I wish I was psychic or something. Yeah, okay. Next question. Do you have a movie that is better than the book? Oh my gosh. Okay. This is hard to say, but Cressida Cowell, she wrote the How to Train Your Dragon series. And while I loved that book series, you know, Snotlout turning evil, and like witches, and Toothless being the size of like a dog, and like just the whole mechanics of their world is so different. And I love the illustrations. It's such a great book series. But I gotta say, the movie just plays out, the character development gets so much better. The plot changes so much in such a good way. It definitely reaches a larger audience. But that question was from AH as well. And I think that this is going to be the end of the first episode. This has been By the Book. You've been listening to By the Book, the podcast. Thank you so much.